Chances are that, beyond some external factors, some form of media formed you into the person you are today. It could be a book you read, featuring themes that resonated with you at the time, or taught you something about yourself you didn't yet know. It might be a movie that sent out a particular message, or had a main character you immediately adored for one reason or another. It might even be a TV show, something like one of my favorites, Mr. Robot, which you should absolutely watch if you haven't already. Like some others, though, that avenue for me lied in video games. Left 4 Dead, for example, reminds me of some of my far too young years, messing about with the console to spawn hordes of special infected to tear apart the AI survivors. The original Borderlands quickly followed, which I played through as Roland 3 times straight, much to the concern of my dad. And following that was Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009, acting as one of my favorite shooters to this day, and one I played for countless hours on my old Xbox 360. Many others are part of that group, but one stood out as the most impactful thanks to the memories I still hold to this day. That game is Overwatch. Now, hear me out. I know that sounds terrible given current circumstances, but let me explain. Overwatch came out during a particularly strange time in my life. It was sophomore year of high school, a year where my lack of friends up to that point was starting to catch up with me. Beyond the few that I had during a particular class here and there, I led a rather lonely life throughout the last few years of high school. It was also the year where I properly got into PC gaming, at least beyond the realm of Minecraft itself, a game where I had thankfully made a few friends thanks to a popular server. When I heard of Overwatch, it was only mildly interesting to me, as was the case for hearing about any old multiplayer shooter as I am today. Still, I thought I'd give it some time during the first beta to see if it was as fun as my friends were making it out to be. What I had been too ignorant to grasp at the time is the game was coming from Blizzard, a company which, at the time, had created what are now some highly treasured games for me, such as StarCraft 2 and, yes, even Heroes of the Storm. They were a company best known for the quality and community of their games, and it's in part because of that I immediately fell in love with the Overwatch beta. From the first moments playing it, the game was a blast from its wide and versatile cast of characters to its fairly well-designed maps, especially for the time. I'm someone who enjoys variety in games as constantly as possible, and the endless combinations of heroes and maps made for something to easily fall in love with. Needless to say, it was a quick pre-order and one that I didn't regret in the slightest. I'm even still holding on to that Noir Widowmaker skin, one that is arguably one of her better skins, but that's a conversation for another time. For what was around the next 2 years, I was playing the game an almost unhealthy amount, and playing with both friends from that Minecraft server and plenty of new friends as well. I'll never forget that long string of time after the original comp season where I played exclusively Reinhardt and made it all the way to Plat. That might not have been much of an accomplishment at the time, but as someone who hadn't played many competitive shooters on PC up to that point, it was a big deal for me. It quickly created endless memories, more than a lot of games had ever managed to do for me. That is not to say the game was perfect, and it absolutely wasn't as time went on. Many contribute Overwatch's fall from an amazing FPS to both its focus on crowd control abilities and shields, something I'd be hard-pressed to disagree with. While I simply lived with these issues for a good while, eventually I did step away as it ruined a lot of the fun for me. Though while I moved on to other things for better or worse, I still had those memories and friends I'd created in the process. And that still made even the most painful nights of the game worth it. Hell, it's the friendships that made me come back a few months ago to join for another 2 of Overwatch each week, and while it's far from the game it once was, I still do enjoy it a lot for everything it is. Now, of course, there is the elephant in the room which I've been regretting touching, though I don't want anyone to take these praises the wrong way. While I do praise the game itself a lot, I absolutely can't praise the incredibly disgusting behavior of the developers behind it, nor the leadership at Blizzard itself these days. That behavior is inexcusable, and I wouldn't dare defend nor support their behavior. I hope those who are abused by Blizzard staff get the support they deserve, and that genuine radical change is happening behind the scenes. Between you and me, though, I won't hold my breath. Despite all, I'm still excited to play Overwatch 2, at least from what few days of either beta I've sunk my teeth into. It's more fun than the game has been in years, and the changes to both CC and the one tank meta are some of the best changes the team could have possibly made. Are the monetization schemes even close to okay? Absolutely not. Was the extreme content drought the game suffered to get here worth it? Not necessarily. Though from a gameplay standpoint purely, and from the changes that have been made, they're the best choices the team could have made in the current circumstances. I'll probably play it quite a lot when it launches, although the team won't be getting a dime of my money till there's evidence of proper cultural change. A new coat of paint won't change that. Part of me, though, is going to miss the original game. It may be far from perfect in its current state, but it's still at its core a fun and satisfying experience, one of the best available in the FPS scene, which I suppose says a lot. It's also where I made so many memories and so many friends, some of which I in fact played with just the other night and still do very consistently. Part of me even wishes we were just getting a massive update to the base game instead of an entirely new experience, and it's difficult to argue it couldn't be done in one way or another. It may be going away, though it'll hold a place in my heart for what will hopefully be a lot of my adult life going forward. Goodbye, Overwatch. You weren't always great, and in fact you were sometimes even frustrating, but everything you did for me, from giving me a community to belong to and a game I enjoy, is priceless. Even if the me of a few years ago might disagree with you, I'll miss you.